Don't make me get my phone out. 8:30, never late. All right. SoFi closing above $18 a share. We have a lot of news to cover here. Mainly because of executive orders that Trump has signed today. Not only making a working group for crypto, starting a crypto asset, digital asset stockpile, but mainly because of the reversed SAB121. Okay. Now, I want to go through this and talk about what it does for banks, what it does for SoFi, and why it might not be time to get bullish just yet. And then we're going to finish off with a video from the great and powerful David Sachs from, the PayPal Mafia days, but Craft Ventures mainly now. But he has just taken over as the AI and crypto czar under Trump's administration. We're going to listen to a video. It's quite lengthy, but it'll give some sort of clarity on where his head is at, obviously leading a lot of the things that are going to be coming out over the next couple of years. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about SAB121. Okay. SAB121 was essentially created to make it a little bit harder, in my opinion, for banks to custody Bitcoin. If they had it on their balance sheets, then they'd have to label it as liabilities. Okay. The problem was that would have potentially negative effects on their capital ratios, meaning that essentially look at it as if it was a loan, right? That you are now limiting yourself from doing other investment activities that potentially could yield more stable results. Yet you might not be yielding anything if you're custodying Bitcoin. And we'll look at Coinbase and these sort of things to sort of show off where potentially some of these service revenues can come from and how much the larger banks might actually bring on. But it'll be a longer episode today, just in terms of the actual facts, before we get to any Q&A or just general comment stuff. But I'll try to fly through it as fast as possible. If I can get through it, faster the better. All right. That being said, we know that SoFi really wants crypto. Okay. This just came out today that SAB121 is gone away. And according to Anthony Noto himself, you can see this during a retweet that he did of data-driven investing, that if regulation permits, bringing back crypto to the SoFi platform would be the plan. If regulation permits. Was he talking about SAB121? I'm not so sure. Okay, so after talking with a couple of, much smarter SoFi experts than myself, they reminded me that whenever SoFi actually got their banking license, that it was a conditional license. And we have to remember some of the actual steps here that SoFi had to take in order to remain a full-on bank, right? This is why we divested from crypto in the first place. So I'll go ahead and bring up this letter from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC, and we'll go down. You can see that this is the form directly talking about SoFi, okay? But really, what you're going to notice is that there is a condition to them becoming a bank. Let's go down to the conditions. Once we go to number 3, what you'll see is, while the operating agreement is in effect, the resulting bank shall not engage in any crypto asset activities or services currently performed by SoFi Inc. or any other crypto asset activities or services, unless it has received prior written determination of no supervisionary objection. Oh, sorry, clicked away. From the OCC under the procedures set out in the operating agreement. Okay? Now, the changes of SAB121 was an SEC provision. SEC provision. This is the OCC. Now, this is where we're really going to see some problems, is potentially multiple different regulatory bodies that are overseeing what SoFi ends up doing might not have, like, SAB121 might not actually have any impact on SoFi particularly. So although this may open up a lot of other banks to go ahead and start custodying Bitcoin and not having that be a negative to their balance sheets, SoFi might be in a different particular situation. Kind of sucks, because we're not fully a bank just yet. We are in a essentially probation period, or at least that's how we still foresee it. Now, who knows how long this is going to be? My understanding is that this was going to be something along the lines of until they divest from crypto, but now it's seeming like it might be, 3 years from when it started, which might give us a little bit more time, all the way to like December. Who really knows? Okay. So that's the very hard part as well, is knowing when this is even available for SoFi. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the OCC isn't going to, make this correction, or that Anthony Noto and team at SoFi have already sent out letters to say, hey, this is being cleared up on the SEC side. It's probably not what you want to do to then step in front of what Trump is doing, which is making a clear road for crypto and say, hey, we're going to make a stance here. I'm sure that's not what's going to happen. So this might already be cleared up. They might, like it said, okay, that there is going to be some problems unless prior written determination from the OCC. So potentially they could just get a written exemption and say, okay, you know what, SoFi, you go right ahead. But there might be just a little bit more time before SoFi ends up getting this. Now, what is that timeline? A little bit confusing. So if you were to ask Crossroads, for example, he thinks it's going to be 2 years before SoFi gets back into crypto. If you were to ask Data-Driven Investing, he's going to say somewhere around 2 weeks to 2 months. And I'm more along that side. I actually think that we'll probably get this within the next month, because it's not going to take them long to make sure that all of these changes are in effect. Seems like Trump is in a signing mood. I would not want to be in his way. I don't think that they are going to die on this hill knowing that a bank that is run exactly the way that you wanted and closed down this activity whenever you asked for it without an extension, that you are then going to give them the wrong side of bringing crypto back. And by the way, they already have those tools built out. Why would Noto post this if he didn't think that he would be clear for crypto? Well, he didn't say SAB121. He said, if regulations permit. Well, the regulations may not permit just yet. It might for other companies, but if regulations permit is not covering SAB121. What is interesting is potentially the immediate tools that Galileo now has to go to market with. Okay. One, they've been working with crypto companies since they've essentially had Galileo, right? They've had BitPay and all of these different companies as Galileo customers, and they are offering, card programs to be able to spend down your crypto and actually convert that to USD. But potentially they were going to get into other things. You could do crypto loans, or potentially help with custodying and setting up those accounts. So there's a lot of stuff that Galileo could do, a lot of crypto-based products, and they will be running hard knowing that a lot of the banks that they're now dealing with will also want a piece in this asset class. So that could be very, interesting. But we're going to have to see what SoFi actually does come out with. And I hope it's immediate. If this happens in the next week, they put out some sort of release saying, hey, we want to get into this, but this is just going to take us a little bit more time. I'm perfectly happy with that. We might be in a little bit of a gray zone, though. That's what I'm worried about. Let's see here. What a negative Nancy's. I mean, I am just trying to give you guys the news here. So it is important to cover that. It won't be hard to put crypto back once we actually have that okay, right? Noto wants to do that. They want the transaction volume. They want the ability to actually custody the deposit or the crypto as well. They do make a small fee from that if SoFi was to get into it, but back in the day, they did not even do either. They went to other fintechs to then custody that for them. But they're a fully regulated bank. It's been my belief that Bitcoin and all of these other coins will find their final resting place within large financial institutions. Yeah, all banks will be able to get into crypto now. And they were able to do it before. It just wasn't in their best interest. Now that's not going to hurt their other businesses to then potentially custody Bitcoin also. So let's look really quickly at something, as I think that this is also interesting. One, we can look at Coinbase, a company that has definitely been in this space for some time. Okay. And we can zoom these numbers in a little bit. Actually, I can't zoom them in that much because I want you guys to be able to see the numbers here. But this is their subscription and services revenue, which back in the day, if you look at this line right here, percentage of revenue, this was 36%. And now in the most recent quarter, it's now 49% of total revenue. Makes up for a large chunk of how much Coinbase actually does. Okay. Let alone their institutional trading volume and then, retail trading volume, for which I have zero, want for them to like I don't own this company because I don't think that they're doing very well on the retail side. They're charging too much. And if they were to charge less, which they're starting to do, it's going to impact their margins and their overall amount of money that they make on their crypto. But that leaves a lot of room for a lot of other things that they're doing here. And some of the ones that are very interesting is the interest income here, the custodial fees, okay? And then stablecoin stuff as well, which I also think big banks are going to get into. Every single payment company is going to get into. Essentially, the way to think about the stablecoin revenue is this is custody deposits of stablecoins that are making treasury yields, right? Because the stable coins are then going to be matched one-to-one with real US dollars, and those US dollars are being put into short-term dated fixed income investments. Custody fees, however, is the idea that other institutions and players in this space are paying Coinbase for the privilege of keeping their Bitcoin with them. This is so interesting because this is the one that everyone talks about, like, Coinbase is winning every single ETF, customer out there. And it's like, yeah, they did. I think they own like 17 out of the 20 Bitcoin ETFs or something like this. And then an additional like 8 out of 9 of the Ethereum ones last quarter. And then look at the total amount of total revenue for custodial fees. It's at 2.8%. 2.8% over where my mouse is here. Okay. So it makes up for such a small part. That's not really what we're interested in. What SoFi should be interested in is the transactional volume, but also know that it comes with all these additional benefits now whenever we don't need to work with an actual custodian or just generally a larger exchange like this, right? So if SoFi can do it on their own, this makes the banks, which I do believe will be the final companies to do this, by far the biggest players in crypto. That's why I don't buy Coinbase. I think Coinbase is going to be the company that ran through the door first, that ran very fast, that ends up, sort of facing all of the problems head on, which they did, but they're not replacing banks. That's for dang sure. The government wants regulation, even in a deregulatory environment, okay, like what we're going to see over the next 4 years. There's still going to be a lot of, even in the new clarifications for crypto, a lot of the reasons why they're doing this is they're going to make potential crypto investments like ICOs turn into very similar procedures as initial public offerings like securities, right? Know who the owners are, know what the ownership is, and all the full breakdowns and disclosures. They're going to make crypto very similar to that. The sacrificial lamb, yeah. Now, I'm sure they'll stick around for a very long time. I'm not going to bet against Coinbase at all. Don't get me mixed up. If they go up, they could double from here. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think that during a time of a crypto doubling, Coinbase may not run as fast as what Bitcoin is running at, and there will be other players like Robinhood that will actually run even faster because they have a margin expansion, and Coinbase is going to have a retraction from their fees because there's going to be such an overwhelming amount of players that are going to come in on their side. But this is going to take time. Okay. Bank of America said, hey, we'd love to get in on the transactional side, but we need to see over the next couple of years how this is actually going to pan out. B-dubs. Did you end up watching the Shark Ninja video, B-dubs? Let me know your thoughts. I think it's a very interesting company. Let's go ahead and watch a very interesting video. This is a breakdown. Let me bring this volume right down. This is a breakdown from David Sachs on some of the changes and what he's foreseeing in this sort of digital assets working group, what they're going to be focusing on. So he's going to be leading it. Anyway, Bit upset I didn't. Well, whenever you get a chance, it's in the Discord. There's a new channel for course members to end up. You'll see all the videos there. Anyway, let's go ahead and watch this really quick, and then we will go on to questions and stuff or other market news. There's some small stuff, but really the crypto stuff that's going on today is by far the biggest news, in my opinion.
The president says is the man. David, thank you for joining us. First of all. Second of all, is this promises made, promises kept? Because Donald Trump said on July 27th that he would stop federal agencies from targeting the crypto industry. He made good on that promise today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, President Trump.
Just one federal agency right now, which is the SEC. The one that might be blocking SoFi is the OCC. But this is the type of rhetoric that I'm talking about is I don't think that they're going to want to step in the way of SoFi if they send a note saying, hey, we've been in good order, but it's time that we start to get back into crypto like the rest of the other banks. If JP Morgan can do it, we can do it. Anyway.
Campaign to be the first crypto president, he gave a now famous speech in Nashville where he described how he was going to change the regulatory environment for crypto. And he has now acted on that promise. He signed this executive order today. He's directed our working group to produce a regulatory framework that's going to encourage innovation in crypto in the United States, keeping the industry onshore rather than driving it offshore, which is what was happening under the Biden administration.
I want to get to that framework in just a second. First, the executive order halts what President Trump calls aggressive enforcement actions and overreach. What is he talking about there?
Yeah, well, Edward, for the last 4 years, the Biden administration has basically prosecuted and persecuted crypto companies, really driving them offshore. I've heard so many outrageous stories by founders, by entrepreneurs. The Biden administration would not tell them what the rules of the road were, and they would then get prosecuted. And what the industry wants more than anything else is regulatory clarity. They're saying, just tell us what the rules are, we will abide by them. And the Biden administration would never do that. And because of that, all the innovation was basically moving offshore, and America was about to lose this technology of the future. And we want that innovation happening here in the United States. And I think it now will happen in the United States because President Trump has declared that the U.S. must be the crypto capital of the world.
The crypto capital of the United States is going to be at SoFi, baby. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be amongst a lot of players. But SoFi does want a piece of this pie. And obviously, they're going to need a lot of the regulatory bodies to line up to allow them to do that like they were offering before. It sucks that it feels like SoFi is behind, but they really were front running with crypto. They've been offering it for a long time, 2019. Anyway, let's get back into it.
So it creates this working group that you will chair. What will you be looking for, and what type of guidelines are you looking to put out?
Yeah, so a few areas. So number one, market structure. We need to define what is a security, what's a commodity, what's a digital asset or collectible. So there's a few different categories here. So defining the market structure is important. Second area is stable coins. I think stable coins are a really interesting area. It gives us the opportunity to extend the dollar's dominance internationally. We can basically create a digital dollar that people all over the world will use. And then the third area that we're going to look at is we're evaluating this national stockpile for digital assets. We haven't created it yet, but we're going to study that issue.
So looking at the stockpile, haven't made the decision to go forward. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Yeah, we're going to evaluate that. We have not decided to do it yet. But we need to study that.
Is crypto an asset or a currency then?
Well, when you're talking about digital assets, it can be multiple things. I mean, you've got digital assets that are securities. You've got digital assets that are commodities. You've got digital assets that are collectibles like NFTs or meme coins. So, you're talking about a whole vast area of innovation. And so digital assets can be a number of different things. And that's why you need a clear regulatory framework that says, which areas are which. What are the definitions? And that's what founders need. Founders just need clarity around those definitions. They need to know what the rules of the road are so that they can abide by those rules and be confident that if they succeed in the United States, they're not going to get arbitrarily prosecuted.
I do think it's funny that everyone wants to, or the people that don't understand crypto 100% always want to lump it into what is it then? I mean, to its actual case, what it is, it's a security protocol. It's to make sure that you don't need someone who is protecting what you own. It has a signature that you actually know that this one is unique. And then we also have another protocol that actually defends to make sure that that uniqueness is not able to be replicated. Okay, that is what it is. So that could be for anything. So it is not a crypto. It's not a currency. It's not a collectible. It could be anything. It's just dependent on what the project that people put ahead of it. It's like saying the internet. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. It's the overall arching, entire ecosystem. It's just to make sure that it's a different type of security where people can, Anyway, the great thing about this as well is that crypto sees no borders either. And anyone is able to set up a technical, wallet or whatever, whether you're in Africa or Europe or North America or South America, it doesn't really matter. If you have a wallet, it would transfer seamlessly. There's no additional fees or anything like this. So even for me, I think that the most impactful change, what you're going to see immediately, is going to be stablecoins. It's the one that just on average is going to make so much change. And then we'll get into some things like blockchain will probably be the way that companies defend against AI and deep fakes and all of these things, because soon I'm going to need to make a video, and YouTube is going to start doing this. I'd put my money down on this, that my videos are going to have a signature to say this is verified. And the way it's done that is that they are going to create a YouTube blockchain that is essentially putting videos to guarantee that these are the real ones by those creators, and not a potential fake or something like this, where someone can create another account. You'll have to look at the signature, and it's up to YouTube to make sure that that's very clear that these videos are from real humans and that this is from the person that you think is making those videos. Cryptocurrency has a lot of very unique features. A lot of people want to call it a scam. What you're really saying is you don't believe that this one particular part, like the Bitcoin price or something, which is probably the most speculated one, because that one is just designed to be a valid, it's not just designed to be a store of value, but that's the way people are treating it, because it's not actually the most efficient blockchain. But anyway, that's for another day. If you guys ever want a real breakdown of crypto and the way I think about it, let me know in the comments down below. Let's continue.
So how far is the U.S. behind, do you believe, the rest of the world, and how fast will this help catch up?
We're going to catch up really fast. I mean, the innovation was starting to move offshore. There are places like Singapore, even places in Europe that were ahead of us. But now I think it's going to change very fast. Really, if you look at Silicon Valley and the technology industry in general, the U.S. leads in virtually every category, and crypto is one of the few exceptions. And I think that's going to be very, very quickly rectified because of President Trump's executive order today.
I want to get your take on the Trump coin, which started right before he took office. Are you concerned about a conflict of interest there?
I don't think so. I think the Trump coin is a collectible. Like I mentioned, there's different categories of digital assets. That's a collectible. It's like a baseball card or a stamp. People buy it because they want to commemorate something. So this is just my personal opinion. I'm not a regulator, but my personal opinion is that it's totally fine.
So this executive order bans agencies from developing a central bank digital currency. Why is that?
Well, CBDCs are a real threat to freedom and liberty. What you're talking about there is moving to a central bank digital currency that would be run out of Washington by the Fed, and would basically gradually replace cash and catalog everybody's transactions. And it could lead to new laws and dictates about how people spend their money. So I think people are very concerned that that could be an Orwellian path to go down. No one wants to go down that path. And I think we can create stable coins, basically digital dollars, without doing that. So the executive order is really clear. We want to create a regulatory framework for stable coins, but we don't want to go down the path of CBDCs.
But a digital currency for a government could be competition to Bitcoin. Did that play into that decision?
Well, I mean, any government can create a stable coin. So, but I think the U.S. Dollar is already the world's reserve currency. So I'm not really worried about competition there. I just want to extend, or I believe that what we should be doing is extending the dollar's dominance into digital areas, extend it online. And I think that could actually create trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries. It could be really useful to us in basically supporting our debt and also bringing down long-term interest rates.
David, in the last 30 seconds we have, you are also the AI, the artificial intelligence czar. The executive order was signed on that, making U.S. the capital of artificial intelligence. What does that mean going forward?
Well, like the president said at Davos today, we want to be number one. We want to be the global capital in artificial intelligence as well as crypto. These are two areas that are absolutely vital for the future. They're both cutting edge technologies. The Biden administration had passed this 100-plus page EO of burdensome regulation. It was just unnecessarily cumbersome. The industry hated it. They were complaining about it. President Trump promised to rescind that Biden EO. He's done that now, and we're going to replace it with something much better.
Taking the gloves off, we'll see, and we'll see what.
All right. So there's a couple comments in the chat. One, people, I see even from like Paul here saying NFTs are a joke. Well, NFTs, from what you're referring to, could be potentially thought of as a joke. What ended up happening is people created these collectibles, and then that got way out of hand because people were getting, rich. And then so if there's some way to easily create something that become millions of dollars just based on hype, you're going to see that replicated 1,000 times. But it's the exact same thing as any collectible. Logan Paul bought a what is it called? An Illustrator Pokemon card that was $5 million or something like this. It's a tiny piece of cardboard. Okay, they fill an Amazon box up with that stuff for free to make sure that your actual package doesn't move around. He paid $5 million for a piece of cardboard with a little bit of paint on it. Okay. But it's what it symbolized. There was only one of them in the world that was ranked that high. NFTs are the exact same way. It's a one of one. It's just in a digital universe. So someone else can go ahead and create another card game aside from Pokemon and create a one of one card that isn't going to get valued that high. But people do collect things, whether it's baseball cards, the card version is so easy, but there's games that have been people will buy the cases of them. Those are all, versions of NFTs. That is an NFT. The only thing is in crypto land is that it's just easy to create online the same way a website is created. It's much easier to create a website than an actual storefront, but to not call a storefront similar to a website is a joke. Okay. So there's a couple comments in here that I just disagree with. What is really interesting is, B. Martin's here. And NFTs are good, useful tech. It's just what they were being used for in early days of crypto were a joke. Okay. But if you were to get a non-replicable, health card or driver's license or deed to a piece of land in real world, that's essentially the same as getting a flimsy piece of paper that says you own acres of land. It's a piece of paper, and it tells you that other people can't step on real earth grass. That sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? But it's the same thing. So there are a couple things, like I saw someone say, F cashless society in here. I think it's the same thing as payment rails that allow people to use Visa or MasterCard. It's just a lot easier to actually, do it on potentially Solana or something like this, or Tron. Much cheaper to do that. Yeah, NFT is non-fungible token. For something to be fungible, it means that it could be multiplied. So it's just not able to be replicable, and it's a digital token. Yeah, so exactly. It's not the paper that says that you own the thing, it's the government records. Okay, so what if the government records were held on blockchain? Because all blockchain is a ledger, okay? This is the ones go in, it's balancing the ones and the zeros. It's just keeping track of everything that has ever happened. That's all blockchain means, okay? It is blocks of transactions that are a web of you seeing where all the money has gone. This is what's so interesting is everyone goes, oh yeah, Bitcoin is the most like this is where the criminals go to do their bidding. It's like, no, actually Bitcoin is way easier to track than US dollars. Like I can go back and see the first transaction on the blockchain network, like all the way, like you could see every single Bitcoin transaction that's ever happened, ever. Okay. Now, there's ways around this, like Tornado Cash and stuff like this, where people take their money out of Bitcoin, put it into another coin that does not keep a ledger, but that's very different. And yes, like ETH for Peace here, you can tell that he's probably definitely into it. The whole idea is that it's insanely hard to break what they've been able to create. So every single transaction that Bitcoin has ever made, there's never been a fraudulent one. Okay. It's never been hacked. There's been, people have their stuff stolen, but that's the same as, like anything. Like people can go and rob stuff too, but that's probably because you didn't have your password in the right place. You clicked on a wrong link. You let someone use your computer, these sort of things. But it's never been through going through the back door of crypto and actually entering the safe. That's why everyone gets worried about quantum computing, by the way, because they think that those computers might actually be strong enough to potentially beat out on every other supercomputer that's being used to defend the Bitcoin, system. But so yeah, I actually 100% agree that, and I like this too. What he's saying is, okay, we don't want a central bank digital currency, but we will lead a way to create stablecoins. That's great. That means that all the companies that potentially already deal in digital dollars, you guys say F cashless society or whatever like this. It's like, okay, you clicked on a SoFi video. Where do you think they hold your dollars? Do you think once you deposit it via e-transfer or you wire it in that they then somehow take it out in real cash? No, it's held on the books online in binary. Okay. It's just the accounts are really good at keeping zeros and ones. And they go back to the Federal Reserve and say, hey, you're expecting us to have these zeros and ones. These are our zeros and ones. They match. Okay, well, you're continuing to hold your books straight. Good. Right? But this is just another way of doing that is impossible for them to get wrong. It's a trustless society or a trustless program. Yeah, it's in Noto's basement, just a bunch of cash. I mean, that probably is true, but yeah, my understanding, and I'm quite basic on this point, is that my understanding is that the level of strength that like the hash rate is set at is based on how many are actually mining it. So if a quantum computer is then used to mine Bitcoin, doesn't that put the hash rate somewhere closer to a quantum level? But then like, what is it? Like 256 or whatever is the max hash rate or whatever, which is like bazillion stronger than where we even are today. But like even then crypto might be able, or quantum might be able to beat that out. That's stuff that's way, way, way above me. But yeah. Also, though, if quantum happens and it's put into the hands of bad users, it's not just Bitcoin that you have to worry about. Bitcoin is at a much stronger security level than the entire internet. So you'd have large problems way before you worry about putting 1% of your portfolio into BTC. Okay. Dookie Pie says Robinhood will get into sports betting. Is this news or is this a hope? Let me see if I can find something here. Hood SoFi merger, almost never. No, this doesn't mean Robinhood could venture into banking. Or, I mean, what do you mean by banking? Do you mean custody deposits and hold loans on your balance sheet longer than 3 months? Then absolutely not. They cannot do that. Yeah, I'm as you guys can probably tell, I'm very bullish on cryptocurrency, but it doesn't mean that I'm like super bullish on Bitcoin or something like this exclusively. The way I look at this and all of these technologies is like, okay, you could have picked a couple great winners that won from the internet. The internet came out and oh my gosh, was Google a great investment? Okay. But the Walmart benefits greatly off the internet. Okay. Insurance companies, I mean, essentially every single business. I don't even know why I was trying to think of companies. Every single company uses the internet. Okay. That's going to be the same way with cryptocurrency. I think it's going to be a way that people use to identify what is potentially real and fake. This could be also insurance policies. Okay. Insurance policies, like there's some people that get like life insurance, or I mean, even commercial insurance is even more crazy, but life insurance for their child whenever their child is 2 weeks old. And then you have to pay that insurance policy out whenever they turned 101 years old. Okay. That was a 100-year-long policy. CEOs, the company has changed parent companies the whole time, but that policy has existed. Okay. It's a crazy business. But if you just had not old files that you had to dig up to be like, look, I still own this policy or something like this, but actually just it's digitally kept in a vault that's unbreakable, that seems like something that would work. Insurance companies will be all over blockchain technology. Financial institutions, essentially everything. YouTube will be a large one. Not for NFTs, not for betting, but to make sure that you guys know that what I'm putting out is from me and not from an AI or something like this. Because AI is going to get so good, you're not going to know what is deep faked and what is from, Donald Trump. There's going to be videos not far from here at all. I'm talking 12 months of a video coming out that looks and sounds like Donald Trump making an official statement. And if his account gets hacked, like accounts get hacked all the time, okay, from very important people, and the video comes out saying crazy stuff. One thing is text, and then if something is too crazy, people go, I don't know, maybe that's been hacked. But maybe there's a perfect video with sound, with everything. You're going to need to know that that was actually from the president of the United States. How are we going to do that? That's blockchain. Not memes and everything like this. This is all the jokes that people want to use on this. But the internet was all, Can I Has Cheeseburger were some of the first websites that people, whenever they got their hands on the internet, was using it for. And now we have Amazon.com. So it moves. It shifts. Do I believe in a universal cryptocurrency in the future? Absolutely not. We won't need a universal cryptocurrency the same way that we don't need a global dollar or any sort of thing like that. There will be a lot of them, and then there will be companies like financial institutions that will help with the interoperability of transacting this to that, and then you get what you want on the other side. Exactly the way that we have payment rails today. What's the number one thing that you're most excited about for SoFi as we stand? I mean, it's got to be the loan platform business, probably. I'd love to see quantum computing hack the gold bricks under my bed. Yeah, but you know what can hack the gold bricks under your bed? Some dude running in the house with a gun or It's way easier to hack your gold bricks than it is to hack Bitcoin. That's the thing. Like, Ross Ulbricht still has a $47 million wallet out there that he has not told people about. You can't hack the password that's in his head. Okay? The government, who knows? Maybe they tortured him for it or something. Like, I don't know. But they didn't get it. Okay? If he got locked up, those gold bricks are gone, bro. Like, you guys got to think, man. Gold also, great system. It's extremely expensive. You have to go and mine for it and look for it, polish it, refine it, and then you put it back underground to defend it, and then you guard it with security guards, and then anytime you want to move it, you have to get trucks and trucks because this thing is the heaviest. It's a super heavy commodity that you have to then load and then bring somewhere else, which is all just very expensive. The people who are also transacting in trillions of dollars have already sent that Bitcoin across the world, and it took 10 minutes for the block to refresh. You know? I know your gold bricks are tongue-in-cheek, but maybe they're not. But all I'm saying is, like, yes, it's not online and someone across the world couldn't hack into it, but your neighbor can. You know, so you're always going to be vulnerable to something. It's just trying to increase that security as much as possible. How does SoFi continue to gain members once we start seeing plateaus? Why would we see plateaus? I think your question is that we keep growing until, one, we run out of our target demographic. Then we get into new products. You look to what Nubank is already doing, so offering those main products, then start to offer products that are more leaning towards senior users. And then you're also starting to offer products for more youth account users, which SoFi has already indicated in career postings that they are looking to solve that youth account problem. Get the customer on before they even know that they need banking. All good, Chris. I was just using you as an example. I think it was a good one to clear my mind of that. AI agents might need payment services. SoFi might be able to do that. Yeah, and stablecoins is actually the way that. So crypto, the first time that an AI agent has ever paid another AI agent has already happened, by the way, which is crazy. Something that is not alive, or at least not conscious the way that we think of, consciousness, has already paid another AI agent to give it some of its like tokens, which is essentially the unit of measurement for compute power. And so it bought life from another AI agent using crypto stablecoins. And by the way, they did it on Coinbase Prime. They did it off of Coinbase's rails. That's a real story. You guys can Google that. That is nuts. MD, the course is at futureinvesting.pro. And yes, you can rewatch the Shark Ninja video. Not only that, but as we go along, you'll be able to watch every single one. Yeah, I'm not. B-Dubs is right. I didn't even see those comments. I'm not going to give financial advice on what you're going to do with your chunk of change. Not a chance. And you just love B-Dubs to say that I'm not a financial advisor, huh? That joke is 2 months old now. Okay. What is your price target, Tanner, after earnings? Well, I mean, I'd like to see earnings first before I give you a price target on that. But if it does what I hope that it does, I think that we definitely break $20. I think that that's something that we could aspire to see. Yeah, it used to be. SoFi to the moon, question mark. So you're probably reading the title. So it's not 100% clear when we are going to get crypto. It could be a lot quicker for other, financial institutions. But for SoFi, we may need to wait for the OCC to give us the all clear. Now, hopefully that happens very soon. But you can go ahead and rewatch. We did a lot of that at the early part of the video. Now I'm just kind of cleaning up with some questions in the chat and getting to talk about cryptocurrency, which I don't get to talk about all that often. Let's see here. Tanner, is Shark Ninja the next play? I don't currently have it, but it is extremely exciting. That's for sure. I actually loved doing due diligence on that. I'm actually having a lot less fun doing AMDs than I was on Shark Ninjas, which is always funny. What I really like about companies like Shark Ninja is they're just unbelievably easy to understand, right? You know what it is. You just need to find out what they're doing differently than their competitors and see if it's a value worth purchasing and if they can continue to, do what they've been doing. Will crypto inclusion be revealed this earnings? It might actually be part of the Q&A section. I could see an analyst wanting to come out and see. It's an entire asset class, right? So I'd be interested in seeing that. What do I think about the SoFi 2X leveraged ETF? I'm not going to take part in it right now. But I could use those for, potential dips that we end up seeing. I could see myself buying a couple shares to take advantage if I think that it's off of a report or something like this that's just absolutely bogus. Usually they fall down pretty quick and recover very quickly. Now Tanner's pumping vacuum cleaners, not just vacuum cleaners. Okay, we're talking outdoor appliances, we're talking fans, we're talking hair care, we're talking all sorts of stuff from Shark Ninja. It's pretty cool. And obviously my house is full of their appliances. And I can actually see them getting, I don't want to turn this into a Shark Ninja video, but I could see them getting into a lot of other stuff. So right now they say that their TAM is about $120 billion, but expanding quickly as they enter new categories. I could see myself getting into a Shark Ninja video right now, but I could see them also going the route of like a Samsung and starting to offer much larger appliances that come from it at a tech-focused view. So a Ninja branded fridge, dishwasher, microwave oven, stuff like this. Like, I just think they can go so far with this as long as they keep up their level of innovation. Do I own over or under 10 products from Shark Ninja? Under. I have the blender. I've got a Shark. My girlfriend has the thing for her hair, the styler, the Flex Breeze fan, a coffee maker, air fryer. I don't know how many that is. 7? Yeah. And I'd buy their vacuum if we didn't have a different one, but no, the reason why I said Samsung rather than LG is that Samsung has a massive, massive market cap. It was I specifically said Samsung for a reason. Maybe Ninja, we'll see a Ninja phone one day. I like to, let's get creative. But now my girlfriend wants to get rid of the coffee maker. I think we have the coffee maker Duo or whatever, which is so funny because I only make pot coffee with it. We don't even use the pods that they offer, but they work. But now my girlfriend wants to get the Lux Cafe Ninja machine, which is like a $500 machine. She wants to get rid of a Ninja product to now replace it with a newer SKU Ninja product. That has to be put into the DD. No? Like, I don't know. That's crazy. Tanner will look at a money-losing business. Oh, you need to look at SN then. I think the next company that we're going to do is AMD for due diligence, but I'd love to hear your guys' breakdowns. And join us if you guys want. Futureinvesting.pro. It's for course members. Not only do you get the entire framework for how I invest in companies, an absolute breakdown, the 25-point checklist that I look for in stocks, but then you're also going to get lifetime viewership for every single video that we do. Right now they're weekly, but I could see myself going down to daily or something like this. That'll probably be after I get a little bit more help on the channel if I can hire someone. But yeah, a lot on my plate right now, but I can see myself going to dailies. My college son loves my coffee more than Starbucks. I use Folgers. I love that. I just buy the Kirkland coffee ground. It comes in like a bag. It's cheap. I can really drink any coffee. It never has ever bothered me. I love like a black iced Americano from Starbucks. Awesome. But then I can drink any brand of coffee really other than instant. I cannot do it if I go to someone's house and all they have is instant or something like this. I'll take a water or something. My worst pick at the moment. So I just sold a company. I was losing a little bit of money on this company. I wasn't doing nearly enough due diligence. And I'm not saying this is a bad business because it might not be, but I was holding on to Sentinel One and yeah. I did very little due diligence. I looked through a guy that I knew, like I trusted his word. He said, hey, you know what? You should really check this out. And I was like, all right, I'll buy a little bit. It was one of my smallest plays. And I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to drop this. I don't know why there was no diversification there. It was way too small. It was just an extra name, but it was in a space that I wanted to do a lot of extra due diligence in, but I never really got around to it. And then I started buying stuff like Google and Amazon and getting more into the cloud plays. And then I felt like I had cybersecurity that way. I'm not saying it's a bad one. I was just losing money on it. And yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I just didn't want to hold it. Whenever you just have too many names. At one point I had like over 30 securities and now I'm down to like 18. Also because of a Bill Ackman video that I watched where he said max diversification comes around 13, 14 names. So I'm still trying to lower that. Tanner, do a deep dive on KMI. B-dubs, if you actually come in the Discord for once, then I'll listen. But I could do that. If you're saying to do it, then I'll do it. Okay, let's see here. Discord, you say I'm somewhat of a typist myself. Well, please, we'd love to have more DDers in the chat and adding a little bit of extra knowledge to some of the different companies. Do you think Vine is going to rise again? No. What do you think about Nu's future? Very positive on Nubank. Nu is going global. I agree. Nu's going to go crazy. I think they'll be in the States in the next 2 years. By the next 2 years, at least. You don't have to be a course member for the Discord, per se. The Discord is free. However, there is a section exclusive for course members that will give you those Shark Ninja videos and all the exclusive videos, stuff like that. But the Discord is free. I think there's 1,000+ people in there already. Yeah, people talking right now, 1,016 people. Just sweet. I didn't think I was going to be able to make a community off the platform, but you guys have been freaking amazing. It's awesome to see that. Oh, thanks, MD. That's nice. Tanner, do you have a dedicated video explaining Hood's business? I think so. Have I ever done just a straight dedicated breakdown of Robinhood? Or have I done 1,000 videos of talking partially on Robinhood? That might be my concern here. Let's see. I'll find out for you real quick. I don't know. Might not be 100% clear, to be honest. I have 3 separate videos of me talking to the CEO, and not one of them breaking down what the company does. Well, according to Paul Trieber, the earnings play that is going to shock to the downside is Shopify. I was reading that report, and he thinks that we're going to drop essentially 17% on earnings, not because Q4 is weak. He actually thinks that they're going to dominate all their numbers, but then give very poor outlook for Q1, which is going to drop the stock. He says it's happened essentially every 3 years, but yeah, MD, that's my username. I think you actually added me, but you got to be very careful on Discord with users that can be very fake. I know that there's some people that try to replicate me. They won't be the owner of the channel, but they'll change their description to make it look like their roles reflect their role in the channel. I paid for this little animation on my profile picture just to try to put some sort of paywall that might differ from them, but just make sure you scroll over the thing, because now I'm starting to see that the bots will have the like not only does the animation move, but it doesn't move all the time unless you're actually like actively looking at the profile. But if you're just like statically looking at it, it has like a freeze frame, and they have started to copy what that freeze frame of the animation looks like. So that's pretty scary. But yeah, so I don't know. I might need to change my animation again, go out and buy another one that kind of breaks the borders. Except they're all just like, the only thing that I hate about Discord is it has zero professionalism around it. And like all the animations are just like, I don't know, cats or anime, stuff like this. I don't want any of that, but I just want something to like, I'll pay for it. Just tell people that this is a real person, you know? But yeah. Yeah, you'll learn Robinhood if you watch 1,000 of my videos. Go ahead and do that, and then you'll know all about the company. How do you eliminate a company with 2 minutes of DD? That's an interesting question. I try not to, but probably the 2 minutes of DD that I would do that would eliminate a company is find out what sector it's in. And if it's not in tech or finance, or, you know, kind of breaks that a little bit with Shark Ninja, but those are some pretty good breakers of how far I'll go, is if it's in another area, one especially that is so far out of my realm that I'll stop there. Chris, I can reach out and ask. That would be a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. This has been an hour long into a 30-minute show. So you guys did this. This is your fault. I take no responsibility. Really do appreciate your time. SoFi at 18. It doesn't get better than this. I mean, it will get better than this, but it's fun while we're here. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. Bye-bye for now.